Hello guys, it's Revolution. So in this video, for the final time, we are going to do Broly vs Jiren. Last week, a lot of people were up in arms at the fact that I said I believe Broly conceptually would beat even Awakened Jiren due to his adaptation. However, this particular verse battle will not have adaptation in the equation. If you've not seen it though, do check out why Broly defeats Jiren. I'll link it at the end of this video. I've seen all the counter arguments and I stand by what I said in that video 100%. This will be the strongest version of Jiren versus the strongest version of Broly. We saw each respective strongest version at the end of Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power, and of course in Dragon Ball Super the Broly movie. Whether that will be retold in an anime arc remains to be seen, but we will be referring to the movie version for this particular video. But Broly will not grow during this battle. It's a typical verse battle in the very same regards to how I do my cross-fictional verse battles. I'm going to make a case for both guys using an abundance of evidence to put everything on the table for both of these warriors, and at the end I'll give my verdict on who I think wins this particular battle. But here's an important message. I, just like you, am a fan of the series. I do not know for a fact who wins this particular verse battle. The truth is, nobody knows. Real talk. In fact, there are only a select few people who do know for a fact, and they are the people that work closely with Toriyama. Anybody that claims they do know are lying to you. I'm simply just going to put out all the information to you so you can have your opinion on this as well, because your opinions hold just as much weight as my opinions as long as you're objective. Now that's out of the way, just before we begin, Gogeta Blue versus Ultra Instinct Goku. It's been a major topic in the community so far. After a certain person's video, everybody's asking me who I think would win, so I'm going to answer who I think would win in the next video. I know I did a video, does Ultra Instinct Goku stand a chance against Gogeta Blue? I kind of talked about the powers of those characters in that video, but I'm going to give my verdict on who would win in the next video. Keep an eye out for it. Share your reasons now down in the comment section. Hashtag Gogeta Blue, hashtag Ultra Instinct Goku, and your reasons why. I look forward to reading them. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share your energy. I do truly appreciate all your continued support. Thanks guys. Let's roll. So we're going to start with Jiren the Grey because he essentially came first in the Dragon Ball Super timeline. It sounds kind of weird because Broly's been around since the 90s. Obviously he's repackaged with the Dragon Ball Super continuity, but Jiren came first chronologically. So Jiren first debuted in the Tournament of Power. Now in the early parts of the tournament, Jiren was simply just flexing, heavily suppressed, yet he was far too strong for even Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, which at that time was literally Goku breaking his limits. That was beyond his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 form, his previously most powerful state demonstrated in the series. Now interestingly, whilst engaged in the Spirit Bomb battle with Jiren, Gohan noted that Goku hadn't used that much energy against Jiren in their initial fight. Goku simply demonstrated his power against Jiren and came under the impression that it was not enough to take out Jiren. Now this was a heavily suppressed Jiren. Just by flexing, Goku understood that he couldn't beat Jiren with Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Enter the Spirit Bomb battle. Now this is interesting because this is where we get a very good indication of how strong Jiren is, at least in his base form, I guess you could say, because Jiren doesn't rely on transformations like the Saiyans do. Jiren is alpha. Now the question is, how powerful was the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb that Goku threw towards Jiren? The truth is, nobody knows. Nobody has an official answer for how powerful that Spirit Bomb was. If you were to take the power of all the Lendis, then the power wouldn't have been that significant compared to Jiren's power. It wouldn't have even been as powerful as Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. However, for me, the best argument and the best example I've seen in terms of how powerful the Spirit Bomb might be was the fact that it was able to endure both Goku and Jiren pushing against it with power of Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Now, I must note that at this point, Jiren was once again still heavily suppressed, and ultimately, he was literally toying with Goku. Goku was at full power, Jiren was far from full power, as Reese mentioned. Given it was able to endure both sides of the press from each of the fighters, and Jiren was raising his power as he was pushing it back, eventually controlling it with just his glare. That's how much ki control Jiren has. You could argue that it was twice as powerful as Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Now, I must make this clear, that's just the energy ball of the Genki Dama itself. You've got to remember that Goku's actually pushing with his full force as a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 from one side, so Jiren has to match that power as well as does take control of that energy ball to ultimately defeat Goku. And like I said, he was toying with Goku during this duel. This Genki Dama duel for Jiren was literally like a visit to Toys R Us. It could be stronger if you consider that they may have been pouring their energy into this attack itself. And it must also be noted that Goku didn't actually get hit by the Genki Dama, he simply burnt out and fell into it. And obviously it was that happenance that triggered Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1. Now, Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 Goku vs Jiren was absolute fire in episode 110. It was probably one of the best battles in the entire series. How hyped were you? Can you remember how hyped you were during that battle? Well, Jiren was still heavily suppressed during that battle. Whis commented that it was the Genki Dama that was fueling Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 Goku. So you could say he had the power of the Genki Dama. Like I said, the Genki Dama itself must have been more powerful than Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. If it wasn't, then Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 Goku wouldn't have stood a chance against this suppressed Jiren, who slapped Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20. Of course, Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1 would eventually burn out, and as soon as it did, Jiren literally piped Goku. However, Goku being Goku would eventually come back, but this time against Kefla, where he would trigger Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2. Now we know that Kefla as a Super Saiyan rivaled the power of the Genki Dama, which fueled Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 1. However, Kefla would turn Super Saiyan 2 in her battle against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku. Super Saiyan 2 is a 2x multiplier. Was it Super Saiyan Berserk 2? Possibly, but we don't know that for a fact, so we have to take the Super Exciting Guide's multiplier for Super Saiyan 2, twice as powerful. And whilst Goku's reaction and speed far surpassed Kefla's speed, it was stated by Master Roshi that if one of Kefla's last gasp attacks hit Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku, that it would kill him. Of course, it didn't, and Goku ended up eliminating Kefla with the Kamehameha at point blank range. As I've said many times in my videos, Ultra Instinct comes with Mastery of Self Movement, which is more than a good enough equalizer to compete against an opponent with a far greater power level. So even if we use rough estimates, and some people might call them low balls, that's fine, but you know, low balls you can at least assert. You could say that the Genki Dama was approximately Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 40 power, and then obviously Kefla being Super Saiyan 2 twice as strong as that would have been roughly Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 80 levels of power. Now just before I move on, I'm going to point out something that I found impressive about Jiren, and that was the fact that he chose to scout Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 2 Goku, which paid dividends later in his fight against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku, because he would be the one that eventually triggered Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3. In episode 119 it was stated by Whis that each time Goku triggered Ultra Instinct it needed a greater power than the one before, so of course it goes without saying Jiren is more powerful than Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. Now during this fight in episode 128 between Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku and Jiren, it appeared that Jiren was either close to or at full power. Jiren demonstrated that he was able to keep up with Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku. Now how powerful was Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku? Well, you'd have to assume that it was stronger than Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, considering he was able to keep up with Jiren. I'm not saying that Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku had the advantage here, but he was parrying, dodging and blocking Jiren's shots. Of course, Ultra Instinct comes with evergreen evolution. It literally grows as it fights, it becomes stronger, sharper, quicker. Jiren had to keep up with this. In fact, I would say that naturally, in terms of raw speed and power, you have to be more powerful than Ultra Instinct to be able to keep up with it in the first place, because the reaction of Ultra Instinct is absolutely insane. But from scouting Goku's battle with Kefla, Jiren was able to counteract Ultra Instinct and landed a massive shot on Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku. Goku got back up, showing that they are on similar levels of power. Then of course Jiren cornered Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku and sent a peppering of an attack. Goku was blocking all these shots. Let's make this clear, Goku was blocking all these shots. However, the ground beneath him was getting smoked, which would have ultimately eliminated him from the Tournament of Power. Hence, he evolved into Ultra Instinct, complete Ultra Instinct. But let's also make this clear, the strategic prowess that Jiren showed during this battle to corner Goku, even with Ultra Instinct, essentially using Ultra Instinct against Goku. Not by having Ultra Instinct himself, of course, but by understanding that Ultra Instinct forces Goku's body to react, ultimately proving that Jiren is a Don in terms of strategic application mid-fight. Of course, upon attaining complete Ultra Instinct, Jiren would literally get tucked in by Ultra Instinct Goku. Now there was a statement in the Jump magazine by Shueisha, who owned Dragon Ball alongside Akira Toriyama. It claimed in that article that Beerus said that Ultra Instinct might be more powerful than him at full power. Now, once again, as I've said many times in my videos, we don't know if he was referring to Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3, because there was an image of Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 from episode 129, or whether it was referring to Complete Ultra Instinct, because Complete Ultra Instinct did come into the equation at the end of episode 129. I'll leave that up to you guys. I used to think it was Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3, but given how much plot protection Beerus has had throughout the course of this series, I now am starting to think that it will most likely be Complete Ultra Instinct. Now, the Jump magazine should be taken seriously as a credible source, unless it's contradicted by the main source material, which it wasn't, so there's no reason to doubt this particular claim. Jiren was stated to be stronger than a god of destruction, not all gods of destructions. Not all the gods of destructions are at the same power. This has been made abundantly clear in both the anime and the manga. I'll make a video on that shortly. It isn't a baseline power you automatically achieve upon becoming a god of destruction. For example, if Jiren became a god of destruction, would he all of a sudden become weaker and be at the same power level as God of Destruction Toppo? No. Even in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, it was heavily implied that Beerus and Quintella were the two strongest gods of destructions. They were the last ones standing during that god of destruction battle. In fact, in the manga, the idea that an arm wrestle dictates who's the strongest was mocked, as it should be, because that idea is ludicrous. However, once again referring to that Jump article, if it was fully powered Jiren that fought against Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 Goku, then of course Awakened Jiren is far stronger than Beerus. But even if it was referring to Complete Ultra Instinct, upon awakening his hidden state, Awakened Jiren would defeat Ultra Instinct Goku. Not only would you have to be more powerful, faster in terms of natural speed, but you'd also have to be so strategically adept to counteract Ultra Instinct, Complete Ultra Instinct at that. To be able to pull this off cannot be ignored. Forget Jiren's insane amount of power. We should be putting respect on Jiren's name for his strategical prowess. This would require a master martial artist plus, and I know I'm making that up, but that's the only way to explain what Jiren just pulled off. In this state, I have no problem saying that Jiren is stronger than God of Destruction Beerus, comfortably. This is presumably without God Ki, as it was never stated he has God Ki, and this is without Hakai energy. Jiren's power is insane. How much stronger than Beerus? It could be X amount. Nobody truly knows. It could be twice as strong, 10 times as strong, but ultimately he is stronger than Beerus. However, what must also be noted, that in this state, Jiren only lasted approximately 30 seconds in his awakened state. He lasted less time than Complete Ultra Instinct Goku. He burns out rapidly. He should be called Rapidash. Now, even before he achieved his awakened state, he fought many battles in the Tournament of Power, a 48-minute tournament. However, he did spend a lot of time meditating during that tournament. Now, that shows extreme confidence, but at the same time, it proves that he rested during that tournament. Whether he needed to remains to be seen, but he ultimately did. He didn't fight throughout the entire tournament, kind of like Goku did, I guess you could say. But considering in his normal state in episode 127, he was able to fight against Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken x20 Goku, Android 17, an Eternal Energy Model Android, and even Golden Frieza, all within the same episode. You have to consider that his stamina in his normal state is pretty sound. He even managed to block a Final Flash, Kamehameha and Android attack at the same time, using just his ki. And of course, that brings us to his techniques. He is able to literally stop things with his glare alone. He literally stopped a Final Flash from Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta with his glare. He is capable of using infallible attacks. You literally cannot see some of his attacks. He likes to use ki flare punches to amp his punches. He can overpower time, as he did against the legendary assassin Hit. However, it must be noted that whilst Jiren is a bag of confidence when facing off against a weaker opponent, if he is to be beaten or he is to be outstrengthed by his opponent, he literally falls apart to the point where it's pathetic. He has to be cheerleaded by Toppo from the stands in the Tournament of Power to get back in the fight. But being stronger than Jiren is a big if. Anyway, Jiren is stronger than Beerus. That could be through his normal state at full power or in his awakened form, depending on how you interpret that Jump magazine. He has complete control over his massive ki. He is a master martial artist who can use infallible attacks to attack his opponents. He can strategize as he fights and adapts those fighting tactics to his opponent. So that brings us on to Super Saiyan Full Power Broly from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Does Broly have what it takes to take down Awakened Jiren from the Tournament of Power? Well, the part about Broly is going to be a lot shorter than what we just spoke about of Jiren, because obviously Broly was only a part of the movie of Dragon Ball Super, whereas Jiren was part of a full 48-minute tournament. And I know Broly did technically fight longer than 48 minutes, but in terms of airtime on screen, we got a lot less. We know that just like Jiren, Broly was able to overpower Goku and Vegeta in their strongest forms at the time, obviously not including Ultra Instinct. Now, some people are still debating on this, whether Goku and Vegeta could use Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, but the fact is we don't really need to go through all the events in the Broly movie to get a gist of how strong he is, because at the end of the Broly movie, this line was made abundantly clear, and that is that Broly might have been stronger than Beerus from Goku's perspective. Now, I've seen a lot of people make this claim, and that is that Goku doesn't know how strong a fully powered Beerus is. However, I'm going to call stupidity on that kind of claim, because what Goku essentially is a character in fiction, obviously, and a character in fiction is a tool used by the writer to advocate the story that he's trying to tell. Now, by no means am I advocating Dragon Ball Super has top-notch writing, but this was a deliberate plot device added to the end of the movie. But if a writer wants something to be contradicted or not taken seriously, it's usually given as indication through the script that you aren't to take this person's claim seriously. That didn't happen at the end of the Broly movie. There is no reason not to take this claim seriously. However, of course, the term is vague, as often is with the claims in terms of power against Beerus, and they've used the word might have been stronger. However, it might have been stronger. It's not might have been as strong, it's might have been stronger. So he's either relative to Beerus or stronger. Now guys, we are talking about Broly here against Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta when he was at his most powerful. You've got to remember that this version of Broly did take hits from Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Now sure, Gogeta may have been suppressed, he may have been holding back at times until he went for the kill, but it's still a remarkable feat given the difference between Gogeta and Broly at that time. And this was also further advocated in the Dragon Ball Super Broly light novels. This is what the Dragon Ball Super light novels had to say. Thank you for CypherDB for translating these for us. Fantastic. What incredible battle power. There was no mistaking it. No being in existence could defeat Broly as he was. Having been beaten this far himself to Frieza, that much was clear. Now, Frieza has faced off against Jiren in the Tournament of Power. He saw Awakened Jiren fight against Ultra Instinct Goku. Would he truly know how powerful Beerus is at full power? Well, if you're one of those who advocates that Jiren's stronger than Beerus, well, if he's fought against Jiren in the Tournament of Power and he's got a good gauge of how strong Jiren was, then he would have a good gauge of how strong Beerus is if Beerus isn't going to be as strong as Jiren. But this much was clear. It literally states that emphatically that Broly was the strongest being in existence. Are they talking about the likes of Whis, the Grand Priest, and Zeno? I highly doubt it. They are from the other side, as Whis puts it. They don't technically exist in the same regards as Goku, the Z Warriors, and the rest of the cast. Of course, it appears that Frieza literally took a beating for over an hour in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, but the Dragon Ball Super light novels also takes that into consideration. Here's what I had to say. Thank you again to Cypher. Sunk into a cliff-face crater by the force of Broly's attack, a strange smile broke across Frieza's face. Haha, fantastic, what incredible battle power. Despite receiving a beating more vicious than any before, Frieza still had plans to use Broly. It continues, Broly didn't come any further. Perhaps he sensed that Frieza no longer had any power left to even put up a struggle. So at least this author attributes it to Broly's psychology. So basically Broly laid off as soon as he realised Frieza didn't really have any power to put up a fight against him, and of course that's when Whis stepped in. But in terms of airtime during the movie, it appeared that Whis only really fought Broly for 2 seconds, but then to put it into perspective, his fight against Frieza seemed to only last a minute. It definitely didn't seem to last an hour. So maybe Whis was literally dodging and weaving a lot longer than we thought he actually did in terms of airtime. For all we know, Whis could have been rope-a-doping Broly for 45 minutes. Not only does the movie itself as well as the Dragon Ball Super Light novel indicate Broly is stronger than Beerus, but it's even indicated in the promotional material for the film. It was stated that he might be stronger than the God of Destruction, and that he was the strongest that Goku and Vegeta have ever come up against. Toyo Toro has referred to Broly as the strongest, and I've seen some people ask, well, why didn't Goku trigger Ultra Instinct against Broly if Broly was the strongest? Well, in the Tournament of Power, Metaman Fusion wasn't an option for Goku and Vegeta. They would have had no time or space to learn how to perform the Metaman Fusion, even if Vegeta did agree to it in the Tournament of Power. But Fusion was a viable option in the Broly movie, which is why he used instant transmission to escape the battlefield, and that's when they learnt the dance. We didn't actually get to see Goku get pushed into breaking his limits against Broly because he literally gave up. He understood the difference in power, and obviously relying on Ultra Instinct popping out again is a risk. And of course, if you make the Blue Evolution and Blue Kaioken times 20 argument that they use those transformations against Jiren, well, they didn't even consider it worthy of using against Broly. Broly is simply extremely strong. Dragon Ball is following the same formula it's always followed, at least consistently followed, and that's that the new major antagonist is stronger than the previous main antagonist. However, with Broly, once you take away his adaptation, there's not that much to him. He is not a master martial artist in the same regards to Goku and Vegeta. He overpowered them through raw power, but at the end of the movie, Goku said that Broly has a lot to learn, and as Frieza says, sparring with Paragus was basically worthless. However, he does learn quickly, but we're not using adaptation in this, but we can say he learns how to utilize techniques quickly. When Goku used the God Cage against him in Super Saiyan God, Broly managed to overpower it and literally use it against Goku. But during the movie, in his full power Super Saiyan state, it literally lost all control of himself. He didn't have full control over his power. I mean, I guess you have to say he has some control because he was spamming the planets with Ki Blasts, not destroying the planet, so he had a sense of some control there. But it literally lost control of who he was and what he was fighting for. It was essentially just a raging Hulk, and pretty much Gogeta was literally just finessing him as soon as he became Super Saiyan Blue. Like I said, you take away Broly's adaptation, you take away his main plot device, pretty much the driving essence of the character himself. But for the sake of the verse battle, it has to be the strongest that we saw in the movie against the strongest version of Jiren. So I'm going to give my verdict on this fight right now. So Jiren could be X amounts times stronger than Beerus, we don't really know, but the same could be said of Broly. For the sake of this video, because of the lack of more knowledge in terms of multipliers over Beerus, I'm going to say that they are probably going to be at similar power levels. If anything, due to the vast array of sources, legitimate sources, saying that Broly is the strongest, Broly most likely has a slight power advantage. However, Jiren wins this fight. Jiren is a master martial artist and strategist that has complete control over his full power. If you think the jump scan was talking about Ultra Instinct Omen Phase 3 and thus full power Jiren in his regular state was equivalent to Beerus, then he'd have Awakened Jiren on hand and he'd literally finish the fight if he became Awakened Jiren. But if you think the jump article was referring to complete Ultra Instinct, the fight would be a bit closer, but I still think Jiren would have a bit too much class for Broly as a martial artist. There are simply levels to being martial artists, and whilst Broly was impressive, he wasn't quite a master martial artist, especially not on the level that Jiren is. Could argue that his awakened form would tire Jiren out quickly and then Broly would start to take the advantage, but I feel that Jiren would utilise his ki correctly. He isn't fighting against mastery of self-movement, so he wouldn't need to exert himself unnecessarily. In a fight, in a verse battle, application of power is vital, and Jiren is levels beyond Broly in that regard. Of course, like I said in my video last week, why Broly defeats Jiren, as soon as you re-enable Broly's adaptation, the essence of his character development, I can't see Jiren competing with that kind of growth mid-battle. As we saw in the movie, there were moments where Vegeta and Goku, both master martial artists, were far superior to Broly in power and martial arts abilities, yet he adapted and outgrew them in terms of raw power to the point where their mastery of martial arts became irrelevant. So like I said at the beginning of this video, I stand by that video 100%. You can disagree with me if you want. Like I said, your opinion on these verse battles weighs just as much as my opinion. I'm just presenting as much information as I can on both characters, making a case for both characters, and then giving you my verdict. You are fully entitled to your verdict. Let me know down in the comment section what your verdict is. Do you agree with me or disagree with me? I mean, even if they do meet in the future of the Dragon Ball Super series, they're not going to be the same power levels that were discussed in this video. they're going to be a lot stronger and things might be different. Drop your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget that I'm doing a video on Gogeta Blue versus Ultra Instinct Goku from the Tournament of Power. Make sure you subscribe to be notified when that video releases. Hit that like button, lend me your energy, and never forget the real reason Broly got so strong during the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. He started drinking water. Drink water, children. Until next time, Ad Astra.